Timothy the Desert Storm. Let me break something down to you people. One thing that's important for you guys to understand about Timothy Bradley is a stout kid. He's a guy that picks up a lot of weight in between fights. He trains like an animal. Like I said before in the prior post, he and Sean Porter are similar animals. They both train like animals, but the difference in Sean Porter is Sean trains consistently throughout the year. As of late, he makes sure he manages his body because he's a thick, stout kid. As Adrian Broner made fun of him being more like a football player, which he is. He's just built that way. And if he wasn't boxing, he'd be going up under that football regimen. He'd be 200 pounds, looking like Maurice Jones-Drew or somebody. And you know how thick Maurice Jones-Drew is. I had the privilege of working with Maurice Jones-Drew when he was in Jacksonville. And the kid's thick for real. And Sean Porter's that way. Timothy Bradley's more that way from the waist up. So, when you look at these guys, he fights at 147. He has to make that weight. And what it takes for him to make that weight is astronomical fitness. But it always comes around and plays and works against him whenever he gets to the fight. And when he gets in that fight, he utilizes every ounce of the electrolytes that are left because he eats very little throughout the last week. The last week of training camp, whenever you're in a fight camp, most fighters, 98% of them, other than Floyd, have to cut back from food. And I'm serious. And I mean, that will drain your body. But you have to still do walkthroughs all week. And some fighters at certain levels, meaning the lower levels, still spar at the beginning of the week just because they're not properly managed. And sometimes that works against you. But in the most part, they don't have nutritionists on board. So they have to starve themselves down to their weight. I've taken 11 pounds off of a guy in a day. So, and that just gives you an idea how serious weight loss is and how it affects you in a fight. Now, when you think about how does it affect me? It affects you when you're in the late fight and you've been going back and forth and the fight is showing death and just the attrition that you have to experience. Once you get to that 10th, 11th, and 12th round, which are the championship rounds, people, that's when you're tapping into stuff that's not there. It's like being starving and then starting a marathon. He fights with his heart, and his will is huge. This is why he survives these fights, but he just survives. If you go back to Kendall Holt, he was dropped twice in that fight. Once in the first, once in the 12th. Then the Provolnikov fight. He was dropped down late again. Pacquiao was hurting several times through that fight. He had to survive through attrition. And that is why tonight he was caught at the end of the fight. Eric Morales probably knew this. Timothy Bradley fell short, got caught at the end, and got rocked. And if you look at him over a period of time, you've seen him in that same predicament over and over. Why do you think he's calling out Gennady Golovkin, guys at a bigger weight class? For the simple fact that he can't keep making that 147. So hopefully, Floyd will have a shift of mind and give him an opportunity to win and cash in a big payday because he deserves it before he leaves out of 147 because he cannot continue to stay there. He will be fighting at 154 very soon, and he'll be stronger at that weight. They call me the Fight Doctor, and I thank you guys for watching. And you're watching Master Boxing. Continue to follow us on social media. Share and subscribe to our channel. Make sure you stay in the fight game because we keeping it real and we keeping it gangster. This is Eric Bradley signing out. Peace.